You'll be moving your research forward from wherever you are right now. The doctoral journey will stretch you. It'll test you, and you will test yourself. You will have to forgo opportunities to do things that you would otherwise do, but this is only temporary. The doctoral journey will make a difference to your future. At Grand Canyon, we talk about the 10 strategic points. The 10 points serve as an outline, almost like a concept paper for the research that you will propose. The 10 strategic points documents your vision for making known what is currently not known, and an architecture for doing that. Along the way, you will need to learn how to synthesize literature to define your 10 strategic points, identify the stated need for your dissertation, and select the theories or models or concepts for your dissertation. And you will also need to embrace the difference between synthesis and summary. You will need to develop a short and focused prospectus PowerPoint using your 10 strategic points, which hopefully your chair can bless as soon as you start that first course with your chair. You will develop your research approach based on your dissertation topic and based on a defined need from the literature, problem statement, research questions, hypotheses, and variables for a quantitative study or phenomenon for a qualitative study. And you'll identify the methodology, design, sample, instrumentation, data collection, and data analysis appropriate for your chosen topic. Note that by the time you start your first residency, you should have read at least 50 articles related to your topic, the topic of your potential study. Obviously, it's challenging to make much progress on identifying 50 articles until you have somewhat narrowed your topic. Reading in the general neighborhood of your potential topic, which you might consider an area of interest, can count as part of the 50 depending on whether you read critically and annotate efficiently. I'll present a separate presentation on annotated bibliographies that will give you some insight into reading critically and annotating efficiently. By the time you attend your second residency, you should have read another 50 articles, and by then should have narrowed your potential topic considerably. GCU is unique in that it provides a lot of support not available in many programs as you start the dissertation program. This includes a detailed description of the steps in the milestone guide, detailed templates for each deliverable, classes to support you throughout the dissertation, and special resources are available, such as a writing coach if needed. Your doctoral journey starts, of course, with coursework, what faculty call content courses. You will have at least 2 residencies, depending on your rate of progress. You may be required to attend a 3rd residency. Near the end of the content courses, Grand Canyon will assign a chair and methodologist to you, and that will start the dissertation phase. But you will have 2 research courses before you work strictly with your committee, and later an academic quality reviewer. You will need to identify a content expert to serve as the third member of your committee. The content member should be somebody who can guide you regarding your reading and writing, primarily about chapters 2 and 5. They should be somewhat of an expert on your topic. Your chair's role is to coordinate the process and is your advocate and coach. Your chair may be knowledgeable about your topic, but content expertise is not the primary role of the chair. Your methodologist will help ensure that the research methodology and design are appropriate, but while your chair also has a role in helping you design your study, you have primary responsibility to develop expertise in your topic and in your research. Finding a content expert is an opportunity for you to begin to develop your future professional network. There are potential content experts on the DC network. However, You can also contact outside people, such as the author of an article that you are using to justify your topic, or the author of your theoretical foundation or an element of your conceptual framework. Often, they look forward to the opportunity because it extends their work. They don't get paid much for this, so they got to do it for the love of your topic. Try contacting one sooner rather than later, but after you have finalized your topic and your 10 strategic points, to see if they are interested. Your content member does not need to be GCU faculty, but they do need to have an earned terminal degree from an accredited doctoral program. When I was a residency instructor, learners often asked when they should contact their potential content member. I remember one July I was paired with my friend, actually my sister-in-law, Dr. Patricia D'Urso, and I encouraged one of our learners in first residency to contact one of the authors who was central to her potential study. I cannot remember if it was an article or part of her conceptual framework or theoretical foundation. She sent the author an email just before lunch, and the author replied to the email while she was at lunch, and she had her content member, even before the university assigned her chair and methodologist. I have a current learner, who I will talk about in a couple of slides, who succeeded in getting one of the two authors of her primary element to the conceptual framework to be her content member. Unfortunately, I have also had too many learners wait until their second or third or fourth course with me, or longer, to get around to trying to identify a content member. You cannot move very far past the prospectus without a content member, so I encourage you to not wait. Academic quality review joins the sign-off on your proposal. Their role is to look at the quality, the academic quality, primarily Chapter 3 of the proposal. The proposal is the first 3 chapters of the dissertation. The dissertation template includes rubrics or criteria tables for every component of the manuscript, from the abstract to the reference list. The rubric is scored using a scale of 0 to 3, with 3 generally indicating publication readiness of the component. You only need a 2 or higher to be ready to go to AQR. For the proposal, you get 3 chances to have academic quality review sign off on your manuscript. If you do not achieve that by the 3rd review, you have to petition to continue in the program, so it is in your interest to not submit to AQR before you and your committee agree that it is ready for review. After AQR signs off on the proposal, you defend the proposal with a presentation to your committee, and after defense, you submit a package of materials to IRB for authorization to collect data. You cannot begin to collect data or even contact potential participants until IRB says so. After you collect and analyze your data and write chapters 4 and 5 to you and your committee's satisfaction with respect to the rubric, you go back to AQR for a 1-round review. GCU expects your completed dissertation manuscript to be approvable in only 1 review round. Then you defend your dissertation. This time the presentation includes the academic quality reviewer. After successful defense, your manuscript goes to form and format review, and after form and format says your manuscript is publication ready, the manuscript goes to the dean for him to read and sign. GCU provides many tools you can, should, or will use to complete your dissertation. You have templates for just about everything you will need, from the 10 strategic points to the prospectus PowerPoint, to the proposal and dissertation defense PowerPoints, to recruitment documents and informed consent and site authorization. In the DC network, you have a dissertation milestone guide by degree program that provides you with the major milestones of the journey, and you also have a tentative course schedule. Each course, after you start with your chair, you will create an individual success plan, ISP, that is your plan for the current course. It helps you hold yourself accountable and gives the chair your expectation for what you will want to accomplish. In the dissertation template, you will find extensive instructions in addition to the rubrics. You will find numerous appendices, some of which are to help you refine your research strategy. You will also have an appendix that identifies the minimum milestone progression expectations that you must achieve in order to finish the program in a timely manner. This is on a course-by-course basis once you get into the dissertation phase. GCU also provides checklists that reviewers use to ensure the quality of the manuscripts beyond the basic rubric requirements. The goal of all of this is to provide you with a roadmap so that you can finish in 3 years, maybe a little longer, and have a manuscript whose quality you and your committee and the university can be proud of. Your dissertation will be published in ProQuest, and it will have your name on it, the names of your committee members and academic quality reviewer, and the dean's signature. So GCU expects each published dissertation manuscript to be of very high quality, demonstrating outstanding research, comprehensive analysis, and exceptional doctoral level writing. Your dissertation may follow you for the rest of your life. When I was active in the International Leadership Association, attending their annual conferences and presenting frequently, the regulars there knew me as the Africa conflict leadership guy. At GCU, whenever a colleague of mine gets a learner from Africa, no matter what the topic, I somehow become the content member. My dissertation continues to follow me, and yours will too. Realize, please, that GCU provides you with an opportunity to finish basically in 3 years, although life does seem to get in the way sometimes. It's only an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you, much more than it is to GCU. Let's look at an actual projected timeline for a current doctoral learner of mine. She started with me as her chair on October 12, 2023. Note that the day she started with me, she submitted her prospectus, which she had worked on during residencies and up until the day she started that first course, RES 955. So she was prepared to submit the prospectus for my approval as her chair on day 1 of the dissertation phase, which allowed her to move forward to the proposal right away. This timeline may be the most aggressive that I have seen at GCU. I defended my dissertation 3 years, 3 weeks, and 3 days from when I started my 3-week orientation course, and that was fast. This learner, as happened with me, will likely need to enroll in additional courses to meet the minimum number of units for the degree. She's likely to finish that fast. So how's she going to be able to do this? First, she did a ton of work, as much as necessary, prior to starting the dissertation phase. Like many at residency, she was able to start on her proposal during residency because she was prepared to complete her prospectus sooner rather than later. She did the necessary reading prior to starting with her chair. She had a good handle on her research methodology and design components prior to even taking her first 2 research courses. By the time she finished her first 8-week course with me, her chair, her proposal draft went to the entire committee for feedback, which she addressed during her first research course. She's on track to have me submit the proposal to academic quality review when she gets back into the dissertation phase course, her second, and before she has her final research course. There are a number of factors that enable or might ensure your success sooner rather than later. For example, you've created a vision for your future that inspires you. You've defined an exciting topic out of needs identified in current literature. You look for opportunity to raise your capability to a new level, to become that doctor. You've developed a detailed plan of the what, when, and how using the milestone guide. You've built expertise in the literature in your field in every course, not just the research courses, not just residency. You use the literature review class as a stepping stone to define your topic and complete a draft of Chapter 2 based on those 50 to 100 empirical articles. You've used the methodology and research classes as stepping stones to become an expert in your selected methodology and design elements. You use every discussion question and assignment to build your level of writing. You value the expertise and coaching from your committee. You value the process of iterative, constructive feedback to develop a high-quality dissertation that will follow you for the rest of your life. And you build your work toward the dissertation into your schedule as a daily priority. Some learners either never complete their doctorate or dissertation, or take a lot more time than needed. And some people complete it in record time, as that first timeline I showed you demonstrates. Some potential derailers might include learners not thinking of how a doctorate can change their future and serve their purpose, how they don't define a topic purely out of their head or out of their past. They treat courses as a single event. They treat the literature review class as merely a course to complete. They do not use courses to build their expertise in literature in their field. They do not proactively develop expertise in their selected methodology and design elements. They believe their level of professional writing is excellent or at least good enough. They believe they already do outstanding work, as they've gotten all A's. They believe their chair should tell them the what, when, and how of their dissertation. They do not really accept the need for iterative, constructive feedback. They do not leverage their committee or treat them with respect. And they do not proactively manage their time to start the dissertation work, starting in year one. In addition, some learners mistakenly believe that a residency instructor blessed their prospectus, so they're ready to move forward. It's important to recognize that at Grand Canyon, the only person who actually approves anything is the dean, when the dean signs your completed dissertation. Until that day, everybody else just provides feedback and identifies that you're ready to move to the next step, whether that is moving on to the proposal, to committee review, to academic quality review, to proposal defense, to IRB, to data collection and analysis, to committee review of your dissertation draft, and to academic quality review of your dissertation, to that dissertation defense, the form and format, and finally to the dean's read for the dean's signature. I believe it is a mistake when any of us say anything about approving the intermediate manuscripts, because it may give some the wrong impression. If your residency instructor likes your prospectus, just say thank you and move to the next step, in hopes that your chair will endorse your prospectus as sufficiently developed for you to move to the proposal. Let's look at a timeline for another doctoral learner. She started with me as her chair in April of 2020. Note that rather than having their prospectus okayed by her chair on day one, her prospectus was not approvable for 10 more weeks. Why? Among the several reasons, she had not finalized her topic, she had not done sufficient reading, and she did not have a necessary grasp of research terminology. This timeline is representative of learners who do not prepare sufficiently prior to starting the dissertation phase. Then, as you might discern from a few long gaps in her process, she had life get in the way: COVID, an ill spouse, a cross-country move, a career change, and a divorce among them. Grand Canyon provides an opportunity to finish in 3 years, but not everybody has life cooperate with that opportunity. I remember well how one of the first learners who Grand Canyon assigned to me as chair did not learn to say no. He was a second career secondary school teacher. He was also a leader in his local congregation. His pastor kept asking him to teach Sunday school, be on the deacon or elder board, mentor youth, and other things. Simultaneously, his principal at the high school asked him to be on committees and then become athletic director. Meanwhile, he had the opportunity to foster 1 or 2 children. In none of these instances did he say no. Along the way, he changed his topic twice. After 7 years at Grand Canyon, he did not have an approved proposal. He petitioned for an 8th year, and Grand Canyon granted that extension. but he ended his journey 6 months later with no further progress. Finishing the doctoral journey is not for everybody. Grand Canyon provides an opportunity, and I've seen some complete the journey in 3 years, and I have many graduates. But it takes preparation on the part of the learner, and it takes discipline. The doctoral journey requires that you say no to things that would otherwise be good to do. As a personal example, my parents met during World War II, when my mother was my father's superior at the Naval Research Lab in Washington, D.C. My mother resigned her commission to date and then marry my father. After the war, they moved to Berkeley to pursue their doctorates in mathematics. My mother had 6 or 7 miscarriages, but found herself pregnant with twins. The doctor told her she would need to be on bed rest for much of the pregnancy, and so she abandoned her PhD dreams to give birth to me and my twin sister. The first woman chair of the math department at Berkeley was my godmother. Simultaneously, my father was recruited to be the principal co-author of the guidance system for the Polaris missile. That opportunity caused him to time out after 10 years at Berkeley. So both my parents finished ABD, all but dissertation. But I like to think they had good reasons. Recognize that finishing in 3 years might not be realistic for you, depending on your circumstances. However, you can finish, and I encourage you to create a plan to finish in whatever time frame is realistic for you. Just finish what you've now started. It is important to recognize your own strengths and weaknesses, advantages and challenges. If you struggle with reading empirical research, what might you do? If you struggle with writing at a doctoral level, how do you plan to improve your writing? If you cannot make sense of the difference between summary and synthesis, what might you do? If your schedule is already overloaded with commitments, can you cut back on some of those commitments? And do you need to seriously consider whether this is the right time of your life to pursue a doctorate? Do you have a support team, a team who can help hold you accountable? If not, who can help you with that? Do you have a reading plan and a writing plan? If not, develop one. Develop the discipline of working 20 to 25 hours each week towards something that will help you move forward toward a completed dissertation. Do not try to cram all of those 20 to 25 hours into the weekend. You do need time for yourself, for your family, for however you practice your faith, for recreation, and for whatever your employment is while you're pursuing your doctorate. Learn to say no, and not now. And I simply cannot do this right now, even if this is your doctorate. After you finish the degree, which you will have earned, because you will not earn a doctorate simply as an attendance award, you can do those other things. If you discipline yourself now, you can finish the degree and have those 20 to 25 hours a week back for all those other things that you must sacrifice to finish the journey with those letters after your name or the doctor in front of it.